We're almost ready for our final race of the day, the British Truck Racing Championship. The grid set by qualifying this morning, and so it is Ryan Smith who takes the pole with Stuart Oliver alongside him. Second row, David Jenkins and Stephen Powell. Michael Oliver and Simon Reed on row 3 missed the Thruxton race because he missed Thruxton with business commitments with the family freight firm. Craig Reed, hopefully he's repaired and back out on row 4 alongside John Bowler. Bradley Smith and Tom O'Rourke will complete the top 10 in Division 1. Behind them, Simon Faulkner and Jock Borthwick making his first appearance of the weekend. Yes, he's back after those injuries sustained on his motorcycle earlier in the season. Row 7, Ricky Collett will start alongside Neil Yates. Neil electing to start from the back of Division 1 as a newcomer. Ricky Collett failing to set a time in qualifying earlier on. Back to Division 2, Adam Bint snatched pole position with the very last lap of the session, 28 thousandths of a second quicker than Paul Rivette. Craig Evans and John Powell next, Simon Cole and Jim Bennett round out the grid. 20 trucks out there then for our second of 6 races this weekend. This is the first proper Pembrey race. TRP DAF heads them round. Ryan Smith on pole, looking for win number 16 this season. Paul Rivette looking for win number 13 in Division 2 after his victory earlier on. Adam Bint desperate to get back to winning ways there, without a win since our last visit to Pembrey. He's only had 5 race wins this year. That was all at Brands Hatch and Pembrey. Consistency has kept him in the title lead, but only 14 points ahead of Paul Rivette now, so it's going to be a real run-in to the season in Division 2. Ryan Smith leads by 53 points in Division 1. Stuart Oliver joint second now with David Jenkins, the big 3 at the top end of the grid. Stephen Powell, he's 5th in the championship, 4th on the grid here, the number 3. Just one Division 1 win in his career so far. That was at Thruxton last year. The Powell family celebrated like they just won the championship. We know Bradley Smith is suffering from handling issues, the man who's 4th in the championship this year. He's 101 points off the championship lead, so still in mathematical contention for the title, but it's unlikely. 15 points down to 1 is the point scale, plus a point for pole position in qualifying. Ryan Smith's got all of those this year, and a point for the fastest lap in each race as well. I think Ryan Smith's just about got all of those in Division 1 as well. Final checks being made in the sunshine of South Wales. We're on board with Bradley Smith. There's Craig Reed in front of us. Good to see Craig's back out. Bit of luck in the race earlier on when he went off while in second. His brother Simon out for the first time this weekend as well. Those two Ivecos indistinguishable from a distance. So I'll apologise in advance if I call the wrong Reed. There's John Bowler on the left as well, the number 14. He's had some wins in Division 2 here at Pembrey in the past. Around from Stockport near Manchester. Another 15-minute race coming up then to round off the day here at Pembrey. Hopefully we will see the drivers get on their bicycles as well at the end of the race to do those laps for the My Name's Doddy Fund in aid of motor neurone disease research. The campaign started by Scottish Rugby International Doddy Weir. Various events going on at the Rugby World Cup in France at the moment. I think a couple of fans walking from Edinburgh to France to raise money for MND. And of course we have young Holly Brownsell, who's been lapping the various race circuits of the UK with her dad Carl on their bicycles to raise money as well. It was great to meet them at Convoy in the Park earlier this season. Holly's done a lot of work with the British Truck Racing Championship since. As I said earlier, she'll be after Pointy's job soon. Okay, the marshal's ready with the boards. The engines will fire up these 12 and 13 litre engines, developing almost 1,000 horsepower apiece. These 5-ton trucks, limited electronically to 100 miles per hour. If you exceed that speed limit, as we heard from Paul Rivette earlier, you could risk being disqualified. Green flag is waved by our marshals, and here we go. On board with Jock Borthwick. Great to have him back. You can see the amount of electronic wizardry there is in the cab of one of these machines. You'll also see that Jock be steering with one hand and working the gears with the other. Borthwick, who comes from St Boswell's, not far from Glasgow. Not been too many Scottish drivers in truck racing. There's never been truck racing held in Scotland, to my knowledge. Knockhill circuit's Scotland's only permanent race circuit, not really big enough for race trucks. I remember several years ago, Archie Argo, who was based up in the north of Scotland, used to travel down to race at the likes of Donington. Would hate to have seen his diesel bill. That was in the days of Kurt Goranson, Richard Walker, Slim Borgwood, who sadly passed away last year, the great Swede, ex-Formula One driver, Steve Parrish, even Barry Sheen was a truck racer. I'm getting nostalgic again, I do apologise. A number of lady racers have taken part in truck racing as well, perhaps most notable among them Davina Galitsa, the former Olympic skier. And briefly tried to break into Formula One as well. Brian and Kaz Garnett, also most recently Wayne and Joanne Eason. Steam pouring from the water-cooled brakes on Adam Bint's Volvo, just out-qualified Paul Rivette with his last lap of the session this morning. Pace starts to quicken. Ryan Smith's hanging back from the pace truck here, you can see there in the background. 15 minutes of racing then. Second of 6 races this weekend. The first official Pembrey race of the British Truck Racing Championship's penultimate weekend of 2023. Can Ryan Smith seal the Division 1 title this weekend, or will it go down to the finale at Brands Hatch? David Jenkins and Stephen Powell on row 2. Stuart Oliver out to get back to winning ways from the outside of the front row. Ready to rumble here in South Wales. The revs beginning to rise. The pace truck is in pit lane. Here we go. Riding on board with Bradley Smith. This run to the hairpin is certainly not going to be for the faint of hearts. Waiting for those red lights to go out. The power will come on. And here we go with the second race of the day. Good start by Stuart Oliver down the outside in the number 7. He cuts across Ryan Smith and will break right in front of him. Great start by Stuart Oliver. Look at Stephen Powell charging up the outside. Surely he's going to overshoot. No, he's not. There's a bit of push and shove on the inside there. I think one of the Reeds was involved, Michael Oliver as well. Somehow they've all made it around the hairpin. Simon Cole gets it sideways. Now, what's the order going to be? We've got somebody off on the outside. I think that was John Bowler in the number 14. It was. Craig Reed's lost his front bumper. More bad luck for him. As we're underway then, the yellow flag out though on the exit of Hatchets because John Bowler has come to a stop. It's Stuart Oliver that leads just ahead of Ryan Smith as they charge their way around the back of the circuit for the first time. That was a brilliant start by Stuart Oliver. Stephen Powell got a flyer as well up into 3rd. Simon Reed is 4th. Michael Oliver is in 5th position. The big loser at the start there was David Jenkins, who's down into 6th position from 3rd on the grid. Ricky Collett 7th. Simon Faulkner's got a flyer as well. He's up to 8th in the 92. Then it's Borthwick, Bradley Smith, and our Division 2 leader is Paul Rivette. What's happened to Adam Bint? He's down to 4th in the class from pole position. Maybe starting from the outside is an advantage. John Bowler's gone off again in the background. Looks like he's got damage. Down to the hairpin for the second time. Stuart Oliver from Ryan Smith. Stephen Powell in P3. Then it's Simon Reed into Hatchett's hairpin for the second time. Michael Oliver keeping pace with the leaders. It shows just how much that tight hairpin can shuffle things at the start of a race here at Pembrey. Craig Reed is next. Swing their way through towards the crossing. Division 2 is led by Rivette, ahead of Evans and John Powell. Can Stuart Oliver hold on in front then? It's a long way to go. It's only 2 minutes into this 15-minute race. Michael Oliver running well. David Jenkins down into 7th place now behind Craig Reed. An awful first lap from him. Ryan Smith trying to get alongside Stuart Oliver as they come out of Brooklands. He won't quite get the line away there. Stewart hasn't won since the third race at Thruxton earlier this year. That was back in July. And 2 wins at the opener at Brands Hatch. Only 3 wins for the number 7 this year so far. On board with Bradley Smith, chasing the returning Jock Borthwick, his first race since back at Pembrey in May, where he had a win. Sadly had that accident on the Isle of Man. Through the hairpin, Ryan Smith gets the exit a little bit tighter, but he can't get the line away. He won't get through there on Stuart Oliver. Volvo from Freightliner. Stephen Powell still holding on ahead of Simon Reed for 3rd place, so the order a little bit shaken up in this race. And of course this race will set the grid for race 3 tomorrow, with the top 8 in each division reversed. Well, there's only 6 in Division 2, so it'll be a full reverse for Division 2. There's David Jenkins, only 7th place for the MAN. He had a poor first lap. Ricky Collett in 8th place in the 95. There's Borthwick. Simon Faulkner's got ahead of Bradley Smith. That's MAN certainly not running too well this weekend. Paul Rivette's clear in the lead of Division 2. He is closing down Adam Bint's lead all the time. He's ahead of John Powell. Bint's up into 3rd in Division 2 now, so they've relegated Craig Evans down to 4th. Next in the order, Neil Yates in the last of the Division 1 trucks, then Simon Cole, Jim Bennett and John Bowler. No, correction, John Bowler's last of the Division 1 trucks, sorry, because he went off on the first lap. Outside comes Simon Reed, trying to take 3rd place away from Stephen Powell. It's in the second half of the lap you stand more chance of making an overtake. Powell in the HGV Direct and Dines Recovery, sponsored number 3, also sponsored by Cameramatics. Simon Reed, the man from Stoke-on-Trent, giving chase. It's the Northumberland driver, Stuart Oliver, the 10 times champion who leads, looking for his first win since July. Out to Brooklands comes the 3rd place battle. Ryan Smith still there on Oliver's tail, the 2 bonneted trucks together. See Oliver trying to move to the inside, so does Smith. Stuart Oliver just that little bit too quick in a straight line. He made such a rapid start from the outside and then cut across the nose of Ryan Smith. He knew he had to do that, otherwise Smith would have been away like a shot. Adam Bint back in 3rd in Division 2. This is not where he wants to be. Smith tries, he's having a look there. Doesn't get the line away down into the hairpin. Meanwhile, we're going side by side almost for 3rd. It's not hard to know where to look as they head into the hairpin this time. Simon Reed trying to go round the outside. He won't get through there. Michael Oliver's closing up, so are Craig Reed and David Jenkins. 7 of them covered by less than 6 seconds. 8th is still Ricky Collett, so if it stays like this, he'll have pole position for race 3 tomorrow. Race 2, which is the first action we have tomorrow for the trucks. It's the second race of the day at 9:30. Will be set by the grid will be set by the second fastest times from qualifying. Jenkins giving chase. It's been a frustrating year for David Jenkins. Finally scored his first wins of the year at Snetterton last time out. There are the leaders, through towards Honda Curve. Oliver from Smith. Change for 3rd as well. Looks like Simon Reed has got through ahead of Stephen Powell. Indeed he has. Finally the Iveco ahead of the MAN. Craig Reed holding off to David Jenkins further back. Now Simon Reed's got to defend his position. Further back there's Collett, Borthwick. Borthwick's got ahead of Bradley Smith. And Simon Faulkner. There's Paul Rivette leading Division 2 ahead of John Powell. What's the gap between those two? 2.3 seconds. Lead gap is 0.79 of a second. Adam Bint still 3rd in Division 2. We've lost Craig Evans. The number 10 truck has pulled into the pits. He was 4th in Division 2. So that place now goes to Simon Cole, ahead of Jim Bennett. John Bowler's got ahead of both of them, recovering after he went off on the first lap. You just see him there in the background, the blue and red number 14. He's had 1 win this season in a shortened race at Thruxton after Neil Yates' accident. Neil is now running towards the tail of the field in P15. In the sunshine of South Wales, coming up towards half distance in our last race action of the day. Stuart Oliver continues to lead Ryan Smith. 0.86 of a second is the gap. There's Neil Yates, the white truck in the background, the recovery company boss. Certainly needed some recovery after that big shunt at Thruxton. He was fine. Bit of a baptism of fire to truck racing, certainly. Stephen Powell's been caught by Michael Oliver. Looking to make it 2 family members on the podium if he can get ahead of these 2. Fastest lap of the race so far has been done by Stuart Oliver, so that'll be an extra point. Top of the 15 he will take for the win. 73.8 miles an hour average around Pembrey. Craig Reed still defending from David Jenkins. We'll work out after the race who's put up the fastest lap in Division 2. I think it's Paul Rivett. There's still nearly 7 minutes to go. Here comes Jenkins. Further back, Jock Borthwick's caught Ricky Collins as well for P8, and P8's important because it gives you pole position for the reverse grid race tomorrow. Leaders over the line and the gap has come down. Ryan Smith's just done the best lap of the race, 1:10.8. He's got the gap down to less than 0.4 of a second, I can tell you now, as we watch David Jenkins on the inside of Craig Reed. He's going to go through into the hairpin, up into 6th position. So Jenkins gains a place. There are the leaders, you can see. Ryan Smith getting a second wind. He's closing up. They're coming up to lap Jim Bennett in the Seddon Atkinson as well. Simon Reed still third. He's pulled away from Stephen Powell. There we see the fastest lap confirmed for Ryan Smith now, so that'll be an extra point if he can hang on to that. He's all over the back of Stuart Oliver now, and he has to go wide there as Oliver takes the line for Brooklands. That's dropped him back again. I think Ryan Smith's getting a little bit too desperate there, and here comes Jim Bennett. You can see him watching his mirror. They don't call him Gentleman Jim for nothing. Always very courteous to his fellow racers. He knows the Seddon Atkinson's not as quick as the trucks around it. He moves aside, lets the leaders through. Good driving by Gentleman Jim Bennett. Over the line they go. The lead gap now back up to 0.95 of a second. Smith lost a bit of time there at Brooklands. Just over 5 minutes to go. Smith trying to close back up again. They're 4.2 seconds clear of Simon Reed in 3rd place. Here's a battle in Division 2. This is Adam Bintz ahead of John Powell. This is for 2nd in Division 2. Paul Rivett up the road is leading the way by, we'll check the gap as they come over the line. There's a black and white flag out for number 5. That's Adam Bintz. Warning for driving standards, probably for exceeding track limits. No, the lead gap in Division 2 is up to nearly 6 seconds now, so Paul Rivett is heading for another victory, win number 14 of the season, I think that will be. Stephen Powell trying to lap Jim Bennett. He's in 4th place, being chased by Michael Oliver. There's Simon Reed ahead of them, looking to make up for lost points. He wasn't allowed to take part in the first race today because he wasn't on the grid at Thruxton. David Jenkins still holding off Craig Reed. Ruining that crash in race 1 when it looked like the steering broke. Went wide there, kicks up the dust, well, kicks up the mud on the outside of Honda Curve. This is the battle for 4th. Down into the head. Michael Oliver, who had that huge lunge in the first race into the hairpin, didn't work. Nice to see the Welsh flag flying there in a couple of locations on the banking. So here's John Bowler attacking Neil Yates. Excuse me, he says, and goes through. That's up into P15. These are the tail end of Division 1, 12th and 13th in Division 1, these two. They're behind Rivett, Bint and Powell. Still the lead battle goes on, and Oliver pulled away a little bit on the previous lap. He's over a second clear of Ryan Smith. Jock Borthwick all over the back of Ricky Collett in the 95. Champion back in the 90s. There's a yellow flag out there. Somebody gone off. Let's have a look in the background. I didn't quite see anybody. look at the timing screen as they come over the line. I can tell you that Stephen Powell is back up into P3. It's Michael Oliver. Michael Oliver is off, and that will be a red flag because he's not far off the edge of the circuit. That was just out of my view there. Michael Oliver has gone off. So the red flag comes out with 2 minutes 43 on the clock. That will be a result declared. And so Stuart Oliver will take the win. Now we'll wait to confirm the result there because that's confused the timing screen a little. On board with Bradley Smith. So we will wait to see what lap the result is taken from, because that may affect who's taken third place, because Stephen Powell and Simon Reed were close again. But what we do know is that the win is going to go to Stuart Oliver. Fastest lap will go to Ryan Smith, so they'll both get 15 points. So the gap will remain the same between those two. David Jenkins will lose ground because he was down in about 5th or 6th position when the race was stopped. So there you can see it's at Brooklands. Michael Oliver's just gone out wide and slid off into the mud. So the race, yes, just confirmed, it will not be restarted. Results will be declared. So the provisional results will be Stuart Oliver ahead of Ryan Smith, Simon Reed third ahead of Stephen Powell, David Jenkins in 5th ahead of Craig Reed. Michael Oliver had dropped down to 7th in the timing screen, but he won't be classified as the cause of the red flag. So Ricky Collett and Jock Borthwick will be 7th, 8th. That'll give Jock pole position for tomorrow. Bradley Smith and Simon Faulkner will complete the top 10. Paul Rivette will win Division 2 ahead of Adam Bintz and John Powell. And just looking down the timing screen, it looks like Paul Rivette will get... oh, hang on. Adam Bint has been given a 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits, so he will drop down to 3rd in Division 2 behind John Bowler and Neil Yates in the Division 1 trucks. Simon Cole and Jim Bennett, the final finishers. In fact, the result being taken back to the end of lap 9 we see there. So Oliver the winner ahead of Smith. Smith gets the fastest lap of 1:10.855. Division 2 is won by Paul Rivette ahead of John Powell and Adam Bintz. Fastest lap in Division 2 will go to Paul Rivette. Time for me to do the maths then. While the recovery crews go to work getting Michael Oliver out of the mud. Already been confirmed the race will not be restarted, so the trucks will be sent round to the paddock. Has come up on the timing screen. Well, there were only just under 3 minutes of the session to go, so I don't think we're going to see a restart. It did come up on the TSL timing screen that the session would not be restarted. So I will attempt to work out the points from that race. No points for Michael Oliver, of course. He will not be classified as he caused the red. We'll await Pointy to talk to them when he is ready. Down in Parc Fermé, yes, looks like the truck's being sent away from the grid. The tractor being brought in to recover Michael Oliver. See, it is pretty muddy here at Pembrey today. Now Ryan Smith being told to stop there by one of the marshals, because I think they have to be led by the pace truck back into the paddock. So Ryan Smith jumping the gun a little bit there. The results taken from the end of lap 9 then in this prematurely halted race. Stuart Oliver taking the win just over a second ahead of Ryan Smith, with Simon Reed in third ahead of Stephen Powell. Michael Oliver showed in fifth, but will likely be taken out of the results as the cause of the red flag. So David Jenkins will be fifth ahead of Craig Reed, then Ricky Collins and Jock Borthwick. He'll take pole for our third race of this Pembrey weekend, the second race tomorrow. Bradley Smith and Simon Faulkner complete the top 10. Paul Rivett wins Division 2, well ahead of John Powell, because Adam Bin picked up a 5-second penalty. He finishes behind John Bowler and Neil Yates. Simon Cole and Jim Bennett complete the finishers, because of course we lost Craig Evans into the pits.